Hello everyone. You're watching Six Path Weeb, where imagination meets limitless storytelling. Today, we continue an electrifying journey that bends worlds and rewrites destiny. What if Naruko trained among the Green Lantern Corps? Part 2. In this series, we explore a universe where chakra meets willpower, and a shinobi's spirit is tested on a cosmic scale. What happens when Naruko steps beyond the boundaries of her world and trains among warriors who draw strength from pure will? Power evolves. Limits break. And a new legend begins to take shape. Disclaimer. The content on this channel is created purely for entertainment and discussion purposes. I do not own any anime footage used in my videos. All rights belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Now, let's dive into the story. Naruko nodded her head in agreement. "Hi," she said, standing patiently as she waited for Tsunade to explain the mission. "Naruko, the mission of Team 8 is to locate Isabu and seal it. However, there have been some complications," Tsunade said, studying Naruko's calm and focused expression. It was a look of quiet determination that surprised her. Naruko raised an eyebrow. "What kind of complications?" she asked. In her mind, she sighed lightly. There's always something unexpected, she thought, though her face remained composed. Tsunade rubbed her forehead while Shizune stood nearby, watching Naruko with a gentle, caring expression. Naruko offered Shizune a small, reassuring smile before returning her attention to Tsunade. Team 8 and Kakashi encountered a woman and a boy, Tsunade explained. According to the report, the woman has a rare ability that allows her to create and control crystals. Naruko's eyes sharpened with interest. Crystal release. That could be challenging. She can likely shape and move it however she wants. What about the child? What makes him important? Tsunade paused, slightly surprised by Naruko's thoughtful response, then continued. The boy appears to have some control over a powerful creature. Also, there are rumors that Kabuto has been seen nearby. Naruko nodded slowly, thinking it through. Then it's possible he's guiding the crystal user from behind the scenes, she said. That could make things more complicated. Shizune stepped forward. What are you thinking about, Naruko? She asked gently. Just considering the possibilities, Naruko replied. If he's involved, we'll need to be careful. She turned back to Tsunade. Is there anything else I should know, Lady Tsunade? Tsunade shook her head. No, that's all. Prepare yourself and head out soon. Naruko bowed politely. Yes, of course. She hesitated for a moment. There is one question. What will happen to Isabu once it's sealed? Tsunade looked at her curiously. We plan to use it to strengthen relations with Kirigakure, she said. Naruko gave a small nod. I see. With that, she turned and left the office to gather her things. Shizune watched her go, then glanced at Tsunade. Why do you think she asked that? Tsunade shrugged. She's thoughtful. And with everything going on, it makes sense to wonder. Shizune nodded, though she still seemed deep in thought. Moments later, Shizune stepped outside, only to find herself suddenly standing in Naruko's apartment. Before she could react, Naruko gently steadied her by the shoulders. Sorry about that, Naruko said with a soft laugh. I didn't mean to startle you. I just wanted to see you before I leave. Shizune blinked in surprise, then smiled warmly. You always do that, she said. You like checking in before every mission. Naruko grinned. You're my good luck charm, she said. Seeing you gives me confidence. Shizune's cheeks warmed slightly at the kind words. I was hoping to wish you good luck, she said. And remind you to stay safe. Naruko nodded. I will. I promise. Shizune tilted her head. You've changed a little, you know. You're calmer, more thoughtful. Naruko chuckled softly. Maybe I'm just growing up. Shizune smiled. I think it suits you. For a moment, they simply stood there, sharing a quiet, peaceful silence. Then Naruko suddenly sat down on the floor, looking a bit overwhelmed. Shizune immediately knelt beside her, concerned. Naruko, are you all right? Do you feel unwell? Naruko blinked, then laughed lightly. I'm okay, really. I just feel grateful. Grateful? Shizune asked. Naruko nodded. For you. For everyone. It reminds me what I'm protecting. Shizune's expression softened. Then you'll do just fine, she said gently. Naruko stood up again, her confidence renewed. I will. And I'll come back with a good story to tell. Shizune smiled. I'll be waiting to hear it. With that, Naruko gave one last cheerful wave before heading off, ready to face her mission with courage and kindness in her heart. Naruko shook her head, a little overwhelmed but smiling warmly. She hadn't quite caught everything Shizune had said in her quick, lively way, but she understood the feeling behind it. Lifting her gaze, she met Shizune's gentle, dark eyes. "No, it's just. You're amazing," Naruko said softly. "I'm really grateful to have you in my life, Shizune." Shizune blinked in surprise, then smiled back, her expression kind and a little shy. Naruko reached out and lightly held her hands, giving them a reassuring squeeze. "Thank you, Naruko," Shizune replied. "That means a lot." For a moment, the two simply stood there, sharing a quiet, peaceful pause. Sunlight filtered through the window, casting a warm glow across the room. Shizune then let out a small laugh and gently pulled her hands back. "As much as I'd love to stay and talk, I still have work to do, and you have a mission, remember?" Naruko rubbed the back of her head with a sheepish grin. Yeah, I know. Responsibilities and all that." Shizune nodded, her expression turning a bit more serious but still caring. "Your team is counting on you. And so is the village." Naruko straightened up, her bright blue eyes shining with determination. "You're right. I won't let anyone down." She paused, then added with a playful smile, "But when I get back, we're definitely taking a break and having some ramen together." Shizune laughed softly. "I'd like that." Naruko gave her one last cheerful wave before heading toward the door. "Take care, Shizune." "You too, Naruko. Stay safe." With that, Naruko dashed off, her energy filling the air even after she was gone. Shizune watched her leave, smiling to herself, feeling reassured by Naruko's bright spirit and kind heart. Shizune sat quietly, catching her breath as she leaned against the wall. A warm breeze drifted through the open window, brushing against her face and helping her relax. Across from her, Naruko stood with a calm and thoughtful expression, offering a small, reassuring smile. "What is it, dear?" Shizune asked softly, adjusting her clothing and steadying herself. Naruko rubbed the back of her head with a gentle laugh. "Nothing too big. I just wanted to help you feel a little better." Shizune blinked in surprise. "But why, Naruko?" Naruko's smile softened. "Because you've seemed really stressed lately. I noticed." Shizune looked down, her hands resting in her lap. She had tried so hard to hide her worries, even from someone as perceptive as Naruko. "I thought I was doing a good job pretending," she admitted quietly. Naruko shook her head. "I used to pretend a lot too. After a while, you learn to see through it when others do the same." She stepped a little closer, her voice warm and kind. "What's been bothering you, Shizune-chan?" Shizune hesitated before speaking. "I'm scared." Naruko's expression turned serious, but not alarmed. "Scared of what?" Shizune clasped her hands together. "I had a dream. It felt so real. I saw everything falling apart, and I couldn't help anyone. It made me realize how much I worry about losing the people I care about. Especially you." Naruko knelt beside her, gently placing a hand over Shizune's. "Hey. It was just a dream. I'm right here." Shizune looked up, her eyes filled with emotion. "But what if something really does happen? There are so many dangers out there." Naruko nodded thoughtfully. "You're right, the world isn't always safe. But I promise I'll do everything I can to protect the people I care about." She smiled again, brighter this time. "And that includes you." That brought a small smile to Shizune's face. "I trust you, Naruko." Naruko stood and offered her hand. "Good. Because I've got a mission to handle, and I need you to believe I'll come back." Shizune took her hand and stood as well. "I do believe that." She paused, then added softly, "I love you, Naruko." Naruko's face lit up with a cheerful grin. "I love you too, Shizune-chan." With that, Naruko waved and quickly set off, her energy returning as she headed toward her next task. Later, back at the office, Shizune carried a stack of papers to Tsunade, who looked buried in work as usual. "Thank you, Shizune," Tsunade said, glancing up. "Before you go, I have a mission for you." Shizune straightened. "Yes, Tsunade-sama. You'll be working with a small team on a search and retrieval assignment. Your group will meet a contact in the Land of Hills. You leave in 34 hours. Shizune nodded firmly. "Understood." As she turned to leave, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. Despite her worries, she believed in Naruko, and in herself. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them with courage and care. Team Kakashi stood in surprise as Naruko appeared in front of them in a blur of speed. They had expected her usual cheerful grin, but instead, she wore a calm and thoughtful expression. Only Yamato and Sai seemed to keep their composure, though Yamato couldn't help but feel impressed. Her speed is remarkable, Yamato thought. A gentle smile crossed his face. It's good to see you, Naruko. Sai gave a small, practiced smile and nodded. I'm glad you made it. Naruko nodded back. This mission matters. I couldn't just stay in the village. She turned to Yamato. Captain Yamato, I've heard about the situation. If this crystal user is as strong as they say, you may need my help. Yamato nodded, his expression turning serious. If everything went as planned, there should be some kind of sign left behind. I didn't notice anything, Sakura said, looking around thoughtfully. Naruko narrowed her eyes slightly. Something feels off. Kakashi might be late sometimes, but he's never careless. Yamato turned to Sai. Sai? Yes, Sai replied. Could you scout from above? Sai nodded. Understood. He unrolled his scroll and drew quickly. A graceful ink hawk formed and lifted him into the sky. Naruko watched quietly, a faint smile touching her lips. This might take a moment, she thought. There's something I should check. She began walking away. Sakura turned, surprised. Naruko, wait. Where are you going? We're in the middle of a mission. There's something I need to look into, Naruko replied calmly, continuing on. Sakura blinked in confusion. She's been acting different lately, she murmured. With Sai. Sai scanned the area from above. I don't see any signs of the recon team, he said softly. Then something caught his eye. He guided the ink hawk downward. Camellia trees? He wondered, puzzled by the sight of petals drifting along the stream. A gentle gust of wind passed through, scattering them further. With Naruko. Naruko stopped when she was sure she was alone. Good, she said quietly. I can practice my new technique. She adjusted her stance, focusing her energy. Suddenly, she sensed something and turned quickly. A child stood nearby. Naruko softened her gaze. Hey! What are you doing out here? She asked gently. The boy smiled peacefully. Did you know camellia trees can grow very tall? Not all of them stay small. Naruko tilted her head. What do you mean? Everyone has a place to return to, the boy said. A place where someone is thinking about them. Naruko blinked, a little surprised. That sounds familiar, she thought. She crouched slightly to meet his height. Are you here alone? Where's your family? The boy's smile faded into a quiet sadness. The white camellias turned red. And then they disappeared. Everyone disappeared. Naruko listened carefully, her expression soft. So you're waiting for someone? She asked gently. The boy nodded. Yes. The place where someone is thinking of me. That's my home. I wonder if she's thinking of me. Naruko gave a small, reassuring smile. I think she is. The boy picked up a delicate flower. It shimmered faintly, as if touched by something unusual. Naruko noticed it and grew thoughtful. A crystal? She wondered quietly. Before she could ask more. Naruko. Sakura called out. Naruko turned back, but when she looked again, the boy was gone. She stood there for a moment. I have a feeling I'll see him again, she thought. Then she returned to her team. Later. The team moved swiftly through the forest until they suddenly stopped. Before them stood a Vishal dome of shining crystal. Naruko looked up, her eyes focused. So this must be it. Yamato nodded. It's large. And likely some kind of barrier. Sai flew upward to get a better look. It stretches for quite a distance. Yamato examined it carefully. It doesn't react to touch. Kakashi and the others may be inside. Naruko crossed her arms thoughtfully. If they're trapped, we need to get them out safely. Yamato tried to break through from below, but the crystal extended deep into the ground. It's stronger than it looks. We'll need something powerful, and wide enough to affect the whole surface, Sakura added. Naruko stepped forward. I might be able to help. Sakura looked concerned. Naruko, be careful. Naruko nodded calmly. Don't worry. I've been working on something new. She brought her hands together, focusing deeply. A warm glow gathered around her. Fire release, majestic dragon. A beautiful dragon-shaped wave of flame spiraled forward, bright and controlled. It swept across the crystal surface, glowing brilliantly without losing balance. For a moment, everything was still. Then, the crystal began to crack. Naruko lowered her hands, a small smile appearing. Looks like it worked. Dear YouTube family. This is not goodbye, just a pause in the journey. If you've enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay connected for what's ahead. Thank you for your time and support. Regards. 6 Path Weeb.